This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
King Craig reports in, Jamie is headed to Levelland. He said it's very foggy, headed towards Levelland. So be careful, King Craig. Remember, don't use your brights. I mean, it's what you want to do, but it's not what you're supposed to do, is to use your brights. Okay? Have you, and I'm guessing not, but the old rich guys of the NFL are kind of going after each other right now. Goodness gracious. Jim Irsay, the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, who has had his own documented challenges. I don't know that any of those have been worthy of him losing his franchise, but basically said, and this was the first time an NFL owner's basically said this, that there's some merit for removing Dan Snyder from his Washington Commanders football team ownership. He called Snyder's missteps as an owner, particularly with workplace misconduct, gravely concerning. I believe there's merit to remove him as owner. There's consideration that he should be removed. They're not going to vote on it at this meeting. The league requires 24 of 32 owners to approve such a vote, which has never been done at the NFL level.
Mm-hmm.
But it sure seems like Daniel Snyder seems like there's merit, right?
Oh, it does. Now, whether or not they're actually going to put it to a vote and vote him out is a different story. But yeah, it definitely feels like there's merit. Right. I think Jim Irsay just made like the most comment ever. Right. It's just he was gutsy enough to say it.
Meanwhile, the commissioner of the NFL, who, remember, his bosses are the owners of the NFL, told reporters that he has asked the owners to, quote, reserve judgment on Snyder until attorney Mary Jo White completes her ongoing investigation. He said he has no issue with Coach Jim Irsay speaking out the way that he did earlier. So he says, on one hand, let's kind of hold off here until we get the investigation. But on the other hand, hey, Jim, you say what you want to say. So he's walking a fine line, right?
Sure.
He's walking a fine line. Then the other thing that came out, this NFL owners meeting has been chock full of all kinds of interesting issues. Stan Kroenke, who owns the Los Angeles Rams, who took the Rams from St. Louis to Los Angeles, he's been in this lawsuit with the city of St. Louis, as has the NFL. They've had a settlement of $790 million. So now it's like, okay, who's going to pay the tab? And Kroenke thought he was going to get quite a bit of help on that. But as it turns out, he's been paying for the attorneys, which he probably should. And he's going to owe $571 million. The rest of the money will come from the other NFL owners. Those guys were somewhat surprised earlier this year when they found out they would be contributing to the bill. They're like, whoa, hey, what did we do?
Yeah.
So $7.5 million was deducted from their revenue sharing payment. Teams were surprised to lose the money because they had expected Kroenke to foot the bill entirely for the settlement. Kroenke at one point in time threatened the NFL by saying, you know what, I'll just do my own deal with St. Louis and broker it and leave you guys hanging with the rest. And then they figured out a way to make that work. But $571 million is what he's going to owe the city of St. Louis or the county, blah, 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 for that. Okay? So this goes all the way back to 2017 because...
Hope his kids don't miss any meals.
No,
it's a big bill he's got to pay.
He's okay. I mean, again, $12.5 billion is what he's worth according to Bloomberg. So it's not like writing a traffic ticket, but still, it's got to hurt a little bit when you give up $571 million.
I would imagine.
I mean, if there's a Mrs. Kroenke out there, she's like, well, you spent your $571, I'm going to go spend my $571, right? Sure, right? And if that's not enough, you've got the NFL owners who are working on a new contract for Roger Goodell, who apparently has this bonus-laden kind of deal that this past year paid him, upwards of $128 million to be the commissioner of the National Football League. I don't know what kind of pandemic cut he took, Jamie, but I know that a lot of people in the league office, we saw those reports, took cuts.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know that he took a 10% cut. But his compensation over a 2-year period from 20 to 21 was nearly $128 million. So they're working on a new contract, okay? And so they had to vote on the new contract to get it going into negotiations with Goodell. And the vote was 31-1.
Mm-hmm.
The one naysayer was
Jerry Jones, who told Robert Kraft, who's kind of had his own issues off the field, so to speak. He said, in a not so pleasant way. Jerry Jones has had plenty of issues off the field too.
Oh, no question.
Yeah, that's not.
No question. He's no choir boy.
Squeaky.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Who he said, "Don't mess with me," and Mr. Kraft said, "Excuse me," because it wasn't quite so pleasant as "Don't mess with me." I think
there was an F word in there.
Yeah, there was. And then Jones says, "Don't mess with me." Jerry has issue with how the terms of the bonus are outlined, that they're a little too vague for him. You got a lot of consternation in those owners' meetings.
Mm.
A lot of rich old angry men, getting after each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's going to do a throwdown or anything like that. And Kraft just got married. He had a big party in New York, invited all of his friends, including Tom Brady, who skipped a walkthrough with the team against the Pittsburgh Steelers to go to a wedding. He didn't. I don't know if he knew it was a wedding, but apparently it was a surprise kind of wedding kind of deal. And Brady then showed up on Sunday, and they promptly did not do very well against the Steelers. And then he got mad at his offensive lineman for not protecting him. What a charming league, right?
Did you get all this on TMZ?
No, ESPN. I thought I pretty well wrapped it up in a pretty fine little synopsis for you. I knew that you would be just highly interested in that. I just thought it was intriguing.
I'm a little surprised this wasn't on, I think it's TNT, where they love drama. Isn't that what their tag is, I think? Yeah,
I think so.
That's
I think it is. Mm-hmm.
All I hear is drama.
A lot of drama. Yeah, a lot of drama for the guys that are seemingly like
billionaires.
They can do no wrong with their league because the consumption of television and eyeballs on the NFL grows every year.
Mm-hmm. It does. Massive.
Risa reporting that fog is rolling into the West Loop and 19th Street.
Just rolled into the studio.
Rolled into the studio as well. Well,
I thought she was watching on TV and she was going to say it looks like the fog rolled in front of Jamie's eyes right now.
Eyes rolled back into your head. Well,
no, they're just getting really heavy.
Okay. I don't mean to bore you. I just thought maybe you find some or any of that somewhat fascinating.
The part about owners yelling at each other, you mentioned one of them's paying a fine of $571 million. It's
a settlement. It's not even a fine.
Yeah,
it's a settlement.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You're right. That's just like, man, that's big money. And then, knowing everything that we've known has gone on with Snyder, I mean, 100%, the guy needs to be removed.
How is he still an owner? Right.
Yeah, but I am intrigued if he is going to, as he said, start throwing dirt at everybody else, because then it might get a little bit interesting.
Yeah, right.
If he starts throwing shade and dropping secrets from Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell and all that good stuff, that might get interesting.
That might. We might see where the secret sauce is. And there's some reports that Snyder leaked the John Gruden emails that led to his dismissal. But there were only 3 of those, right? 6:40 this morning on the Morning Drive.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
Impressive?
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
19th day of October, 2022. Here is Senior Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Yeah, 1923, going to kick us off today, guys. Ban Johnson persuades American League owners to prohibit boxing in their parks.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, that didn't last very long because the Yankees would do that at Yankee Stadium with those big prize fights for years.
1933, Berlin Olympic Committee votes to introduce basketball into the 1936 Olympics. 1949, A's trade second baseman Nellie Fox to the White Sox for Joe Tipton. I'm not going to say that worked out well for the White Sox, but it really did work out well for the White Sox.
He's one of their legendary players.
He's like in the top 5 second basemen all time. Like when you look at career stats, that's a steal. One of the few things we've gotten right. 1974, Detroit Pistons beat the Trailblazers in Portland. This is in 74.
Okay.
I mention this because their next win in Portland over the Trailblazers was June 1st, 1990.
Holy smokes.
Yikes.
1987, Woodward resigns as New York Yankee GM. Lou Piniella is named the GM, and Billy Martin is named the New York Yankees manager for the 5th and final time.
You think Billy Martin and Lou Piniella, as manager and GM, had any disagreements?
Never once.
2 pretty level-headed guys.
I bet they agreed on everything, Jamie. What are you talking about?
Bet there was never any consternation between those 2.
I think Woody Woodward was a pitcher. It seemed to me like he was one of those baseball cards you always got in your pack. Okay, back in the day. Piniella and Billy probably would have been interesting to be a fly on the wall.
Earmuffs.
1991, longest NCAA football game at the time, 3 hours 52 minutes, as Rhode Island beats Maine 52-30 in 6 overtimes. I don't know how you get a score of 52-30 in 6 overtimes, but I also don't remember the overtime rules in 1991.
And 3 hours and 52 minutes is rather pedestrian today.
That's like an afternoon kick at the Jones.
Yeah.
That's what? That's really odd, yeah.
2005, National League Championship. Astros beat the Cardinals 4-2 to advance to the World Series. And in 2008, the American League Championship took place. The Tampa Bay Rays beat the Boston Red Sox 4-3. It is National Seafood Bisque Day.
You're probably out on the bisque, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't really know what a bisque is.
It's like a soup, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's a cold soup, isn't it? I think that's right. I think it's a cold.
Yeah, I'm out on that.
I'm completely out.
Happy birthday, former Red Raider baseball player Josh Tomlin, 38 today. John Lithgow, 77. Michael Young, 46. Mr. Batflip himself, Jose Bautista, is 42. And J.A. Happ is 40 today. And on this day in 1982, the automaker John Z. DeLorean is arrested and charged with conspiracy to obtain and distribute 55 pounds of cocaine.
Yeah,
DeLorean was acquitted of the drug charges in August of 84, but the legal woes were only beginning. He soon went on trial for fraud and over the next 2 decades was forced to pay millions of dollars to creditors and lawyers. Nevertheless, the DeLorean occupies an important place in automotive history thanks to its starring role in the 1985 film Back to the Future. His full gull-wing sports car is one of the most famous cars in the world. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, time for the word of the day. All you have to do is go to doublet973.com and enter in the word when I give it to you, and then you'll be qualified to win $10,000 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone, where they make your house a home. Boy, it's they're not waking up happy to be Braves fans in Atlanta today with what's transpired with their baseball team over the last week or so. Maybe they're getting over the loss and they're just in the mourning period. They are the defending world champions. Braves is your word at 645. Braves. Go to doublet973.com and enter that in to the secret word contest. You'll get qualified. The more chances that you get in, the more of a chance you have to win. We'll give it away on November the 18th. The word of the day next comes up at 8:45 this morning, and then they'll play again today during Tech Talk at 4:45 this afternoon. Okay? Mm-hmm. So there you go. There's your secret word.
I think the Braves fans are basking in the glory of their Falcons taking down the Niners this weekend. So they're like, baseball season what?
Yeah.
Who? We're on to the NFL. Our Falcons are rolling.
Yeah. Speaking of sports history, last night, somebody makes this point, and Jamie and I talked a little bit about it briefly off the air. Darvin Ham made his NBA head coaching debut last night, coaching the Lakers. They took on the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors. And it was ring night last night for the Warriors, too.
Takes a really special man to keep me from rooting for Darvin Ham, to keep me from rooting for Darvin Ham. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers just happen to have that special man in uniform. Right. I hate that he's coaching the Lakers. I wish he had gotten a different job.
Like anywhere else?
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. Or that maybe that LeBron had decided he wanted to go back to Cleveland or take his talents to,
South Beach again or
wherever, right? Wherever. This report, bisque is a thick, creamy soup served hot, usually containing seafood. Okay. Well, I'm still out. Still out for the most part. I like my soup. Like, if you have soup, do you like it really hot or do you like it just kind of hot? I mean, I like it boiling hot when it comes off the stove.
I pretty much like everything really hot.
Yeah. Boiling hot would be what I'd...
I mean, I will let it cool down, though. I'm not going to, tear up the inside of my mouth over it.
Sure, right. Yeah, no, right. There's that. Pepsi Man reports in this morning, and Pepsi Man's a Yankee fan. He's happy this morning. He says, "Good morning, guys, from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Just want to tell JL how about those Yankees." And then he says this, "Houston, you have a problem, LOL."
Listen, I'm all for making fun of the Astros there, but let's get the line right. It's Houston, we have a problem. Yeah. That's how the line goes.
Okay.
Because it's Apollo 13 saying the line.
Yeah.
It's calling Houston saying we have the problem. That's the line from the Apollo 13.
He's getting all irritated here.
But that makes no sense with his point.
His point is, Houston, you have a problem.
Right, but he's quoting, quote unquote.
Well, no, he's not. He's twisting the quote.
Twisting the quote. Yeah, right.
And that's the part that bothers me. Let's get the quote right.
Clearly.
Of all of your takes ever, I think you're confused on this.
I grew up in Houston. The number
he's
of times
not trying to quote it. He's twisting it to.
Here we go. Let me
show his fandom.
Let me give you a quote.
He's
back
not trying to quote it.
Steady, Henry. Your glue is melting.
Oh,
that's a good one. I don't know where it came from, but I think it fits just now.
It's when Henry is trying to impress a much, much younger cheerleader.
So we're just offended because he mixed up the.
I've heard that quote
talk
misused about 1 million times in my life growing up in Houston.
Okay, but on purpose?
And
he didn't
used in this.
He
way.
didn't mess it up. He did it on purpose.
He did it on purpose. Yes. Yeah. He just twisted it, saying, "Houston, you have a problem."
If he said, Houston, we have a problem, that would be him making fun of his Yankees.
Yeah. This from Bullfighter. Houston, Jeff has a problem. Go Yankees.
Yes.
Chuck, Jamie, you have a problem. Right now, it's Jeff.
Jeff. This dude, Pepsi Man, isn't including himself with the Astros. College Station Red
We
Raider.
love you, Jeff. We love you. This sounds like he's angry about something else, like people have misquoted it when they've tried to quote it, and he lumped Pepsi Man in with that, and Pepsi Man was not trying to quote it. He was twisting on purpose. So this is like previous scars just came out. Even though this one didn't fall into that category, it irritated the scar. Yes?
Music's been playing. I know the rules. I'm supposed to shut up so Chuck can get us out on it.
College Station Red Raider reports in Snyder National Bank had a gold DeLorean in their lobby in the 80s and 90s. That'd have been pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
All right. We will talk some Red Raider football. They do not have a problem. They are getting ready for a football game on Saturday. Okay.
They've got some problems.
They've got some problems.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Nice to have you with us. It is Wednesday, the day the work gets done, with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Hines, coming to you this morning from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, benchmark hotline as well. A couple of hanging chads from last hour. Pepsi Man says to Jeff, you have a problem.
That one wasn't hanging. We took care of that one.
Yeah, we took care of that one.
Now we've done it twice.
And our baseball insider, connoisseur, doctor of all things information, Mike Gustafson, whom you'll hear from later on today on Tech Talk, says this about Woody Woodward. He played at Florida State, then went to the big leagues for a while, right? We documented that. Apparently, also, he was the skipper at Florida State in the late 70s, then took a front office job. Florida State then hired Dick Hauser for a year, who would then go back to Major League Baseball. And then Mike Martin for 40 years. So how about that?
11.
Excuse me, 11. Yeah, I'm just supposed to call him 11. Do his grandkids call him 11? Is that his grandpa name? 11?
Grandpa 11. Meemaw 11.
Meemaw 11. I think grandpa's one thing, but Meemaw's another, right? But hey, there's probably some Meemaws out there.
Oh, I absolutely think there's a Meemaw. There's Meemaws out there. I saw one with a license plate the other day.
Did you?
It said Meemaw. I mean, I'm sure it doesn't surprise you. To each their own. I have no issue with other people doing it. I just want to be a normal name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe my grandchildren will say something different, and I'll think it's the cutest thing ever, and I'll say we're sticking with that. Maybe that'll happen, but
that's what'll happen.
I will be really, really surprised if that happens.
No, I was gonna be grandpa, and then he looked at me, and I was, 50 pounds heavier than I was, and he accurately called me Big Paw. I've got a picture of me holding him at about 250, and he's maybe 6 pounds, and I'm like, okay, this is why I'm Big Paw right here.
Well, he didn't call you Big Paw when he was 6 pounds, did he?
No, but
I was going to say, dude could already talk.
He's pretty smart.
He's definitely a Hines.
Yeah.
If he was 6 pounds and already talking,
Yeah, he was talking.
he's using words.
I'll tell you what.
Man.
I'll tell you what. Nobody can hold it.
Listen to Hines, man. His grandchild said, well, he's pretty smart. He's 6 pounds. He's pretty smart.
Do I sound like the typical one, right?
No, you sound like typical Chuck.
Yeah, right.
You sound like Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 6 pounds. He's talking. Yeah. Said, hey, Big Paw, how you doing?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The boy wonder, man, that kid's, he is talking all the time now. He is a chip off the old block, man.
But he's bigger than 6 pounds, right?
Yeah, he's like 23 now, but he's He set up the other day. He set up an obstacle course for him to run through. I'm telling you, Coach Kidley's going to have a sprinter. He set up his own little obstacle course in the hallway.
That's good.
He was like, he wanted me to do it too. Yeah, I'm telling you, that kid's he's gonna be a trackster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the other one's gonna be a play-by-play man, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the other one's gonna do. He'd probably be a lawyer because he seems to be able to kind of state his case for different things. Okay.
Gosh,
he's got me.
Wonder where he learned that.
He's got me pretty focused today. He's wrote on my coffee cup to be focused, and he circled it this morning. So that means it's really important for me to be focused today. That's what I'm trying to be, is focused. Yeah. All right, 7:05 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Joey McGuire is the head football coach at Texas Tech University. We'll hear from him extensively tomorrow. You're going to hear a lot from him today. We've talked a little bit about this, but one of the things that he is kind of surprised about right now is his team not getting turnovers. Here's Coach McGuire on the defense right now, not getting the turnovers because they want this +3. Big initiative on taking care of the ball on offense and a turnover circuit during defensive practices, and they just haven't gotten the turnovers that they've wanted yet.
Man, that's been if you ask me, the one thing coming into this year that you're like, what's been the biggest surprise? The biggest surprise for me is us not creating the turnovers. Us not, we had the opportunity to have between 2 and 4 interceptions against OSU, and, we don't catch the ball. That was kind of the difference of the TCU-OSU game. They did intercept the ball. They had the opportunity to intercept it, and their player intercepted the ball. We had the same opportunity, and we didn't come down with it. And so that's something that we really stressed. We stress it all the time with the take 3 stuff, and, it's nonstop. They get text every day. I think a lot of times what's kind of scary with West Virginia, when you get a game like that, it kind of gets you going. Turnovers happen in bunches, and we've got to start. And I thought we did a good job of protecting the ball against OSU, and we were better. We were still -1. The defense has got to step up and start creating some of those turnovers, and that happens with playing through the whistle, getting off blocks as far as recovering fumbles, but then also you got to catch the balls they throw to you, and we've got to do a better job of that. But it's always it's a huge emphasis. We start practice off with it every Tuesday and Wednesday. We started practice off with it yesterday of our ball security and then our takeaway circuit, and we just got to keep at it. And it's going to turn at some point. Defensively, and then we just got to keep protecting the ball and putting our guys in good situations to make sure that we're throwing it to the right guys in the red and black.
West Virginia had a +3 against Baylor. Plus, they had a blocked extra point that led to 2 points that were really, critical in that football game. Baylor fumbled the ball 3 times and threw an interception. West Virginia threw just 1 interception.
Yeah, huge factor in that game.
Mm-hmm. So. And, so this where they come in bunches, sometimes that happens. Or you get all of a sudden you get confident and you start seeing, players like, okay, well, he got 1, I got to get 1. And whether it's punching out at the right time or getting a little lucky or getting a little, fortunate, so to speak, in terms of the ball just bouncing into your hands, that's certainly what you don't want. You don't want to give up extra possessions, especially to a team like West Virginia that can be potent.
You don't want to do it really against anybody.
Right.
Obviously it kills your offensive chances and it puts your defense in a bad spot. But, against a team that, like West Virginia, that looks like they can put up a lot of points, giving them extra possessions would be pretty bad, as far as the Red Raiders side of things go. It's just you're not crisp enough offensively, where you can give up a bunch of possessions and give extra ones to the opponent if you feel like you're going to win against good teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, and we all know this. There's no day off in the Big 12, especially this week, and then next week against Baylor, and then you go to TCU, and then you have Kansas, and just the green grass grows all around kind of deal. It just keeps It just keeps getting harder and harder and harder and harder. So you want to make sure that you TCB, Jamie, take care of the ball. Usually it's TCB in basketball. Take care of the basketball. Turnovers and points off turnovers is usually a big factor in ball games. It's been this case as well. I mean, he cited, basically 9 points that the West Virginia defense was totally responsible for with a scoop and score and with the 2-point return off of a blocked extra point. So, I guess that would be 8. But anyway, the bottom line was they've been able to do it, and his team hasn't, and they were trying to correct that.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right.
I'm going to let you give 2 answers for both of these questions.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Wow. I know you both like to talk, so I figure I'd give you some extra.
Give us some extra. Both Jeff and I, right?
Okay.
I don't think everybody ever really feels like we deserve any extra.
Well, I think you do.
Okay.
You both work hard, extremely hard. I would say the 2 hardest working men in our company right here are my partners in the morning. Okay? And I mean that honestly.
Well, thank you.
So looking at the Big 12, thinking back to where you were at the beginning of the season, give me 2 teams that you were the most right about and 2 teams that you were the most wrong about.
Wow. I'm beginning to, I'm kind of going back through.
The second part should be easier, right? Because we're wrong all the time.
Sure, right. Well, I think that I've been wrong about Oklahoma and TCU.
TCU has to be number 1 on my list.
Yeah, right.
TCU absolutely has to be number 1 on my list.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with you on that, but I would say that probably the other one would be, for me, Oklahoma. I didn't think they'd be this bad. Jeff?
Yeah, I don't have an argument for either of the 2 bad ones. The 2 good ones that I think I got right, and it's 1 loss, but Oklahoma State, I thought they were going to be in the Big 12 championship game at the beginning of the season. They still look really, really good. Granted, they got the 1 loss right now, but there's still lots of football left to get played for them to get into that position. The other team I was right on, man, this Big 12 has been so upside down. It's hard to, because I wasn't right about Baylor. I had them win in the conference. I wasn't right about Texas because they've looked exponentially better than I thought they would look this year. Baylor's fallen, like Kansas State. I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be necessarily this good, but I didn't think they would be bottom of the pack either. Mm-hmm. So a half point on Kansas State. I feel guilty about taking that one, but that's the closest answer I got.
Yeah, as far as the good, I would say Oklahoma State for me. And maybe the other thing is that I think that we all kind of looked at this and said there'd be parity in this conference and that there would be no just outstanding team. And so that would be kind of the other thing that I think that we got right is that there's parity. I don't think anybody expected Kansas to be 5-2 at this point, regardless of who they're playing, because they've lost to cupcakes before.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that I've been too wrong on Kansas because I ultimately think Kansas is still going to finish near the back of the Big 12 conference.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
I think I'm with you on the 2 that I was most wrong about. I thought Oklahoma would be, if not at the top, maybe second, but in the conference championship game, and they're obviously struggling at 1-3. I don't know, maybe they got their mojo back. But TCU, I mean, I felt like there was no momentum with that program. I didn't feel like Sonny Dykes was the right fit. I felt like they settled for him when they really didn't want him. And we know he was like their 4th or 5th option, their choice. But I've been wrong there. But I still think there's so much to be seen from TCU when they start having some more difficult matchups on the road in Big 12 play. We'll see how that goes for them. But I feel like the ones that I've been maybe the most right about, I think Iowa State. I think I had Iowa State finishing 8th or 9th. Just didn't think highly of them with as many seniors as they lost. And remember, they also had like a bunch of guys hit the portal, like 22 different guys. And I just felt like something was going on there with Iowa State, and I questioned whether or not they'd be a good football team this year.
And you know, with Matt Campbell always being kind of rumored to be going somewhere else, has that affected their recruiting? Has that affected their ability to retain guys? Or
Sure.
You know, I mean, he's never really said, "Hey, I'm going to die here," you know, in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah.
You're going to bury me in a cornfield.
I don't know. I can't say that I was right about Oklahoma State. I was until last weekend because I felt like they'd be the best team. Mm-hmm. And so at 2-1, I can't say that I've been super right about them. Now they may ultimately turn into the best team and be the conference champion. I still think that's 100% possible. So I think I have to kind of lean towards the Red Raiders because I felt like you were going to be a 6-6 team, and I think you're like trending in that direction. I absolutely think 7-5 is possible, but I know that's a really boring answer because I thought you'd be middle of the pack, and guess what? You're middle of the pack. That's not really sexy or exciting.
The question is about who you were right about. And if you were right about that means you were right about it.
Yeah. I think I can find, I didn't think I was going to be this high on, or that I thought Texas would be this good. I wasn't as high on them, but they're clearly a little bit better than I felt. So it's hard for me to say I nailed any of them. But again, I thought the Red Raiders would be middle of the pack and a 6-6 team, and it feels like they're, on the straight and narrow heading that way.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting because it'll be interesting to see what the perspective everybody has after TCU and K-State play this weekend. Like, okay, so if K-State goes into Fort Worth and beats them, then you're like, okay, maybe you have to change your tune on K-State a little bit.
Yeah.
You have to change your tune.
Yeah, I would include myself in that. Yeah, I would. But I mean, because So
is this 3 weekends in a row TCU's playing an undefeated team?
I guess, yeah.
Kansas, Oklahoma State, and now Kansas State's only undefeated in conference play. That's right. They do have one loss against Tulane.
Yeah, so K-State is, but they're, like you said, they're 3-0 in the conference. So is TCU. But
and I hadn't even looked to the Big 12 schedule yet this week. That's an interesting matchup.
So I'm
going to go with the purple team.
I don't know which one will wear purple. So they'll have K-State will probably roll out their blacks or something like that. That'd be so K-State of them.
TCU with all that red last weekend was just that's interesting.
The other intriguing matchup this weekend is Texas and Oklahoma State. That game's in Stillwater. If the Longhorns go in there and beat Oklahoma State, you may have to change your tune on the Longhorns too a little bit. Even upgrade them even more, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I've said now that I think Texas will be in the Big 12 championship game.
Okay. So you think they're going to beat Oklahoma State on Saturday?
But I also think Oklahoma State's going to be in the Big 12 championship game. So, that may be the best matchup of the Big 12 conference all season long. Because if I'm going off of, I think those two teams are the best teams, are going to be the best teams, then that has to be the best matchup.
Yeah. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I called 7-5 for Tech with a bowl win, finish 8-5. Okay. This KU has to be everyone's free space on bingo in terms of being wrong about. No one expected this from them. I think that's absolutely fair, but I also think it's absolutely fair they could finish 5-7.
I think they're going to finish near the back, just not at the back. So definitely was wrong, but not like extremely wrong.
Yeah. So, can they get bowl eligible? That's the question there. 7:39 this morning. Going back to the punting discussion. Let's see here. Do we get this? Special teams has been special. Yep. I would think our punter would know where to put it. Common sense. JL, I feel and agree with your hesitation on the kicker. I think Coach McGuire is trying to help a kicker save a little face, and it comes right down to it. The kicker just isn't executing.
And I appreciate Coach McGuire for, standing up for his guys and kind of deflect a little blame or whatever. I get it. And I'm sure there's also some truth to what he's saying, but I do think that just Austin has struggled, and that just happens with athletes at times.
Yeah.
And you fight through it, and hopefully you get out of your slump as quick as possible.
A number of our punts were from deep in our own territory. No reason to pooch a directional kick on those. And you're exactly right on that. And those are the ones that we've kind of, wondered about. It's like, is there something wrong with him, that have been short or just off angle a little bit or just didn't have the velocity or the height that we've seen from some of the other ones, especially from last year or even the year before.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Hey, good morning. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Hines. So Patrick Mahomes' mama was in town yesterday, Jamie, and speaking over at the Civic Center. Her name is Randy Mahomes. And apparently, a couple things that transpired from this talk. The lucky lady there with the daughter number one, she took some pretty good copious notes for me. Okay. Okay. Took some notes for me.
It's good.
Apparently, early on in Patrick's career here at Texas Tech, you know how they have the video board messages and things like that, where they ask the players a question, a personal question. Basically, it's just to kind of get to know you a little bit better, right?
Okay.
So they did one of those things with Mahomes. And he texted his mom and he said, "Mom, you're going to be mad." And so she's like thinking, okay, what did you do? College kid, blah, 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 blah. And one of the question that was asked of him for the video board for the big Jumbotron 5000, Raidertron 5000, excuse me. Want to get the name right. What do you miss most about your mom's cooking? And his response was, she doesn't cook. Okay, and that's not the big news I've got for you. The other thing is that she's talked about yesterday is that she didn't want him to leave college early. Okay, people said to her, "Yeah, but look what he's done." Blah blah blah. She said, "Yeah, but she wanted him to stay a kid a little longer." Okay, so it's kind of what all parents want. But she also wanted him to finish his degree. She said he didn't finish his degree, so she challenged him to not let Jackson, his brother, get his degree first. Jackson did. So here's the news. The news is that she said yesterday, Patrick Mahomes is taking some classes anonymously to finish.
That's good that he's doing that.
Yeah.
How do you take a class anonymously?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. But I mean, maybe it's, it's online or whatnot, but maybe he just doesn't want people to know. Maybe I don't know if he's got an assumed name in the class. I have no idea. We're going to go to George Stephanopoulos or something. I don't know. And that wouldn't be a well-known name. And people are like, oh, there's a political contributor in our class here today. Anyway, that was bad. That was a bad made-up name. Anyway, maybe it's
John Doe. Joe Smith.
Maybe it's Jamie Lent, I'm here taking classes Jamie Lent. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool that he's trying to finish his degree. Steph Curry did that. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't it be cool for Mahomes to be here and walk across the stage at United Supermarkets Arena and get his Texas Tech degree?
It would be cool for Patrick to get his degree. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Whether he comes here and walks across the stage or not doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for him to get his degree, that'd be
anyway,
good.
I thought that was an interesting little tidbit there.
That's probably later on he's going to want to tell his kids, I graduated. I finished, whatever. It wasn't easy to go back and I didn't have to, all that good stuff.
Right.
But I wanted to.
Wanted to be known as the Texas Tech graduate. So, I mean, I'm presuming it's here. Okay. I don't think he's transferred to another university.
UMKC or something. I don't know.
Right. God, hope not. Right.
Maybe he's just going to go to Missouri.
That'd be terrible. He's not going to do that to us. He's not going to be a Missouri grad. He'd be a Red Raider grad.
I thought he was going to be going to Kansas State, actually.
Oh, yeah.
That'd even be either any three of those would be bad. You don't want to be a kangaroo. That's what they are at UMKC. They're the kangaroos. They've kind of changed that up a little bit. I don't know if they're the K-roos now, but they were the UMKC kangaroos. They literally had a kangaroo as their mascot.
Isn't our former coach there?
One of them, yeah.
Yeah, Coach.
The BAM guy.
No, Coach Whitaker. Isn't she there?
No. Coach Whitaker was an assistant there.
Oh, before?
She was there. No, she was there before. She was the
the
coach. She was the head coach there.
Okay.
No, it's Joe. God, what's the guy's name?
The BAM guy?
Yeah, building a monster guy. He worked for Tubby Smith. He was down at San Angelo State for a while.
Joe Esposito.
There
Thank you.
Go. Well done, Jamie.
Thank you.
He could be going to Wichita State and become a shocker because he does a lot of shocking things.
No, he's not. He's not. Now you guys are mocking me. Okay. Now you're mocking me.
Why would you say that, Chuck?
Somebody says, "Are the classes at Tech or University of Phoenix?" Well, they have online classes at Texas Tech. I mean,
yeah.
They've got plenty of online classes. I mean, there's plenty of athletes that are going to school here. Plenty of students that are going to school here that never step inside the classroom, but yet they're here in town, which just befuddles me.
And there's plenty of students and athletes over the course of time who said, I also was going anonymously. You just didn't know I was there.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't know I was there. But really I was. And that's for regular students and student athletes as well.
I have a feeling that that you could have been one of those people that were in class every day, all day, and people are like, were you in my class? Because you probably sat quietly and didn't say a word, and participated when you needed to, did your homework, went about your business, no shenanigans whatsoever, just clocked in, clocked out, and moved on.
Well, there were some classes that were smaller where you were forced to kind of know the people around you, but in the larger ones, no question.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember, I moved to Texas in my junior year and went to high school in Tyler for 1 year. And I kid you not, Chuck Hines, I would go days at a time without speaking a word. Through the whole, days at a time. Unless somebody spoke to me, I was not. I was a new kid and wasn't, just went about my business or whatever and did my thing. And until I was playing on the tennis team, I just did my thing.
Did they think you were didn't have a voice box or something that you were?
I don't think anybody thought anything.
They didn't even all the girls probably oh man, the cute guy over there, he doesn't talk at all. We got to get to him.
No, I would go to my job. I'd talk there.
Would you?
I had plenty of friends outside of school, but just not at school.
Is this
and there was, I wasn't bothered by it or whatever.
Referee shoe store that you worked at? Was this at the locker room?
No.
Oh.
No. El Chico's.
El Chico's.
Yeah.
Oh, El Chico's. We used to have one here.
Yeah.
They're Makula now.
Yeah. And I was not whining about it. That was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody here's a funny person. They wanted to know if you went to Tyler John Tyler. No, you went to White House.
I went to Tyler Lee.
Tyler Lee. Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler John Tyler.
I lived in White House after I graduated from Tech and moved back.
I got you.
But I called games for Tyler John Tyler.
But you never called it Tyler John Tyler, did
Now
you?
it's just Tyler High.
Tyler High.
No, I just called it John Tyler, but now it's Tyler High.
Tyler High.
Because John Tyler apparently is a bad person.
Okay, they've whitewashed him out of there.
Yeah, he's not good anymore.
He's not good anymore. Tyler John Tyler.
So you can't say that anymore.
I know.
It's just Tyler High.
It's kind of like Midland
and Tyler Legacy.
Yeah. Just I get it, but they could have probably come up with a different name.
The legacy part?
Yeah, Midland Legacy. Because their legacy is They were Lee. That's their legacy. So they might as well just still be Midland Lee. That'd probably make a lot of people down there happy. I bet there's people down there that are still burning about that.
Probably so.
Clearly,
Probably
there's one
so.
in there that still is.
Yeah, I don't know what they could have gone with instead of legacy. I don't hate the legacy thing. Whatever.
Yeah. Jamie, did you hate having to move your junior year?
Oh man, you have no idea.
Yeah, it's really,
I went from
any kid.
I went from a small farming community in central New York where there's 36 people in my graduating class to, city in Tyler, Texas, where, there was, I don't know, 500 or so in my class, and I didn't talk like everybody else.
Right.
So
literally and figuratively.
Yes. And so, I kind of, I wasn't thrilled with my parents for moving me my junior year in high school, but it is what it is. We
would not have come to know you had that not happened.
Experience the truth of the matter is I moved back to New York for my senior year and graduated from my old high school.
I know, but you came to Tech because of a buddy.
Lived on my own for my senior year, and every experience you have in life makes you who you are. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably why I kind of I grew up in a hurry living by myself for my senior year. So.
Yeah. I feel for you, JL. I did 3 high schools in 3 different towns.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It'd be extremely difficult.
It wasn't the people of Tyler. I mean, it just, again, I didn't feel like people were mean to me. I'm me, and I don't, not looking to make conversation. So it was as much about me as it was anybody else.
and yet you talk 5 hours a day for a living.
Lost a bet somewhere along the way. I took the wrong fork in the road, Heinz.
Right, dude. Ended up with me and McGuire. Oh, boy.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.